Hi, welcome to Mocktails with Mason. Soon we're going to be interviewing Mr. Harrison Cruz. I can't wait to see him, and I bet you can't wait to see him too. Bye-bye.
Wow, look at that. You guys are...
Hello, welcome to Mocktails with Mason. I'm Mason, and today we're going to be interviewing Mr. Harrison Cruz. First of all, cheers.
Cheers.
Yes.
That's delicious.
I know,
Who
right?
made that up for you? Dad?
Yeah, Dad made it for you.
Wow.
Sponsor for Dad. If
That
you
is
want
delicious.
him to make you mocktails,
You should bottle
go to
one.
him.
We could sell that on the market.
Yeah, we can sell it on the market for so much money. So, first question. When were you born?
When was I born? I was born in 1935.
1930 what?
1835. George Washington was the President of the United States.
1835? You were born 1835?
I'm just kidding.
So, do you have any friends or family?
Sure, family in New York and Virginia. And some lost in Barbados
Oh.
and Africa.
Oh, really?
I did my family,
Okay.
did the family tree thing. you know.
Wow. That's
My
amazing.
Ancestors.com.
Oh, yeah, the
And
ancestors.
my family is from Nigeria and the Cameroon.
Okay. Well,
41% Cameroon and 40% Nigeria.
Oh,
hmm
I never knew that about
Yeah, this is interesting because we all Africans originally. That's where we get this from. Okay,
So, have you ever married?
sure. I have two children. Nanika and Tien,
Okay.
boy and a girl.
Oh, that's amazing. I never knew this stuff about you.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, you never, didn't you? I thought you met my daughter. You were a little guy. Yeah, it was a
I
long
think
time.
I was like 5 years
It was-
old.
yeah, it was
Like
a long time.
2017, I think.
Yeah, somewhere back there. Yeah, she was living here, and she had finished college and second college, and she came back for a little while. Now she's working out of town. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How many wives did you have? How many wives?
Wives?
Yeah.
Oh, just really the mother of my children.
Okay.
Yes, I had friends, but Carrie is the mother of Tien and Anika.
Okay. So where is she now?
She passed away. She's with God.
Oh, I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, thank you. I really miss her. Yeah. I'm so sorry you never met her. You would like her as soon as you walk in the room. She's that kind of person.
How was your childhood?
Well, my childhood was wonderful. I had a fantastic mother and father who he left us early, he died early, very early. And my mother had to raise 4 children alone. She did. So, she was pretty tough, right? She was good. I have a sister and 3 brothers.
Oh, what?
And one brother is a twin. There's another one like me.
So you have 2 yous. There's
2 years. Yes, I
Do
like
y'all?
that.
Do
2
you guys?
years.
Do y'all look the same?
No, he's what we call a fraternal twin.
Oh, so like you're like unidentical? Like you're related but you're unidentical.
Exactly. We're not identical twins.
That reminds me of that movie Twins from the 80s. They're related but they don't even look the same.
We look like brothers. You can tell he's my brother. If he was sitting here, you'd say, "Oh, he looks a little like." We look a little like each other, but not identical.
Yeah. So how was the 30s? How was the 30s? Like World War and stuff.
Oh, when I was a little boy, the war was on. The Second World War was raging, and people were suffering and dying in Europe and Indochina, China at that time. And it was a terrible time for those people. It was a pretty rough time for African Americans in the United States because they had what they call Jim Crow. Now, Jim, you ever hear that before? Okay. I'll briefly give you an idea. In other words, when I got on a bus in the South, I had to sit in the back
Oh yeah,
of
yeah,
the bus.
one
You
of
remember?
those.
You
Yeah, from
heard
the
about that,
50s.
right? That was a Jim Crow law, and so that they had segregated schools. You couldn't go to school with
Wow.
white children in the South. You couldn't sit in a movie with them. You had to sit in the balcony, and
Well,
they
we
sat.
had to watch. We had to watch a movie from the balcony.
That's right. You couldn't. You couldn't do anything with white people except maybe walk down the street, or work with them in certain places if they gave you a job. It was kind of tough. So I won't go into all the details, but
Bummer.
that's how I grew up. That's when I grew up. When I was your age, my mother sent me down. Well, you 13?
I'm 13 now.
You're 13 now.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what's happening. When I was 13, my mother sent my brother and I south. Again, we had gone prior to that when we were 9. But when we were 13, we were a little older, so we really got an idea what the South, how different the South was from the North. Okay, so she wanted us to meet all our Southern family, lots of cousins and relatives in Virginia and North Carolina. And we met them. Had wonderful times. Fish fries, church, playing in the yards, rowing in the lake, going out hunting. They gave you a rifle and go out, and we didn't catch anything. And then we go fishing, crabbing. I love the South. I like the people, my family. Really, they're closer than my northern family.
Where do you live?
Where do I live?
Where do you live?
Next door to you.
Okay, so guys, I just want y'all to know we neighbors. This is my neighbor.
Your neighbor.
Yeah, I don't know why I asked you why I thought where you lived. I know where you live.
It's okay. It's okay.
You were literally like 4 feet away from us. 4 feet.
Right.
But next question. I think the next question would be like, did you always live around here, or like where did you?
No, I was born I was born in Manhattan, New York City. Yeah, that's a good question. I was born in New York City in Harlem. You know where Harlem is, right?
Oh yeah.
Harlem Hospital. My twin brother and I and my sister were born in Harlem Hospital. My older brother was born down south.
Oh.
Came up to New York with my mother. And so my twin brother and my sister were born in Harlem. And we stayed in Harlem till about 8 or 9 years old. And we moved from Harlem to the Bronx, where I attended schools, some elementary school, junior high school. And then when I finished junior high school, I attended a school called Art and Design High School in New York City, downtown New York, 52nd Street. And when I finished that school, I attended a college called Pratt Institute. It was an institute/college. Mm-hmm. And That's basically what happened in New York to me.
Okay.
There's a lot more I'm leaving. I'm leaving out a lot too. I would be here all night if I told you all those stories. Well, as I said, the art school in art and design is a special school in New York City for those boys and girls who want to get into the arts. Film making. I studied animation, advertising, illustration, and design, art and design, and film. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And during the 40s, I was in elementary school, and I still remember. Hey, I still remember my first teacher's name, Mrs. Tully. I have friends. My friends don't remember their school teachers' names. The first, second, and third. I remember not my kindergarten, but I remember my first, second, and third. Mrs. Tully and Mrs. Black, and Mrs. Allen Tuck.
Okay.
Those are my teachers.
Okay.
And then I went from elementary school on to junior high school, PS 40.
Okay.
Junior high school in the Bronx, and I studied. I was in a special arts class, and my twin brother, was in a music class. He played trumpet in the band.
Oh, really?
And we had science classes. We had music. We had an orchestra in junior high school. Today, they don't have that today. They only have computers. And the boys and girls don't even have instruments in the junior high schools, in the neighborhoods that we live in, black people live. And I want to put this in because it's a sad story. That after I left junior high school, they removed all the instruments from the junior high schools out of the African American neighborhoods. Isn't that something? That's a true story.
That's.
The truth will make you free. Remember that saying, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, how was the 50s? How was Elvis?
Okay, the 50s, yeah, Elvis Presley, Sam Cooke, the Beatles, who else? James Brown.
Yeah, I think James Brown.
Yeah, they were coming up. Sarah Vaughan, your father knows, but
Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry. I'm trying to think of some other people.
Prince.
No, Prince wasn't around. He was just a young guy. Yeah, Prince wasn't there, and he was.
Wait, Michael Jackson was around, right?
Michael Jackson wasn't around when I was a
Oh
little
no, that
boy.
was the 70s. That was the 70s,
yes.
right?
Jackie Wilson, right? Martha and the Vandellas. I can go on and on. There's a whole bunch of them. They're all Motown. Marvin Gaye. You ever hear Marvin Gaye?
Yeah, Marvin Gaye's pretty cool.
Yeah, he was a cool guy. I saw him at the Apollo. Matter of fact, at the Apollo is a theater in Harlem. And that's where most of the black entertainers got their breaks. First breaks. Ella Fitzgerald, Marvin Gaye, Sarah Vaughan, what's the other? Oh, many. Jackie Wilson, all got their breaks at the music breaks at the Apollo Theater. They had a talent night on Wednesday nights, and I would go, and I'd see all those people. Yeah.
Okay, well, the next question, how was the 60s?
And the 60s were very similar to those people that I just mentioned are a lot of them crossed over from the late 50s to the early 60s. So in the 60s, we had, who can I think of? Gosh, there's so many. I'm trying to start at maybe Motown. Motown during the 60s. You know, the Motown entertainers with Marvin Gaye again, and the Supremes. What's the blind fellow's name again? Yeah, Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder. You know who Stevie Wonder is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're young enough for him. And I could name a whole lot more. Yeah, Ray Charles was one of the greatest entertainers that ever lived. Really, to me. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I like him. I get a sip of this.
How old are you?
I am so old. I'm older than tea. Yeah. And just as fresh as tea. So I'm 87 years old. 7.
I thought
That's how I remember all
I thought
those.
you were like 99 or something. I thought like
Older than 87.
What is your idea of perfect happiness?
Perfect? Okay, that's a good question. Because, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Nothing is perfect. There's no perfect person. There's no perfect car. There's no perfect day.
Well, actually, there is a Lamborghini.
There
That
is
is perfect. That is perfect. That's just perfect. It is.
Scientists, you've heard of Neil deGrasse, right?
I've heard of Neil Armstrong.
Well, Armstrong and Neil deGrasse is a top astrophysicist. He's black too. And he's in charge of the astrophysics department in the Museum of Natural History in New York City. And he looks like you and I. He's the most brilliant man, one of the smartest men in the world today. One of the smartest men in the world is Neil deGrasse Tyson. Remember that name?
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Now you remember that name because as you get older, he's going to come into your life more because he's on YouTube and he gives advice to young people like yourself. Constantly tells you many things about everything. Just he's so brilliant. You Google him one day or put him on YouTube. Go on YouTube. Okay, next question.
Next question is, what's your greatest fear?
My greatest fear would, right, if I can think off the top, was for something to happen to my children.
Oh.
I worry, my children don't realize this, but I think about them every 3 minutes or every other minute or whatnot. I'll always, once you have children, that is the number one concern. Should be. I'm a father, so I say, what? And that would be that. My concern for my children. Something happening to my children is my greatest fear.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like my greatest fear would mostly be something happening to my family.
Yes.
Like my dad or mom. Yeah.
Sure. Should be.
Next question is, what is a trait that you most deplore in yourself?
What is the trait that I most deplore? Procrastination.
Yeah, procrastination.
That's the one that everybody's got a little bit of that.
Yeah, no, I got all of that.
No,
Trust me.
I like
It took me 3 hours just to put this on. Okay?
I like your honesty.
And another hour to pick my hair out.
Oh, that's so
I don't know
nice.
why, because I don't listen. I'm not good at that.
No, you're doing. You don't be so hard on yourself. You're fantastic. What it is that if people procrastinate for different reasons. I procrastinate because when I'm thinking, I say I should do this, but I should do that first. But I should do this now. And one of those things. And so that's procrastination or putting it aside for later.
But you never do it.
But you do it eventually.
Yeah,
But
you do it
procrastinate.
eventually, but it takes some time.
It takes some time, and that's not always a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's a normal thing though. Almost everyone does that.
Yeah, my mom told me to take out the trash on a Sunday.
Uh-huh.
It took me 8 days just to get that right. just to like.
That's a long time.
8 days.
You ought to be glad you didn't have my mother at that time. My mother would say.
I bet your mom.
My mother says, "Take the trash out." No.
Yeah, because if I didn't do it, I bet there wouldn't even be in 8 days because I had to get it done now.
I'll never forget. You make me think about when my twin brother and I were supposed to clean up our room. We had these dirty socks all over the place. Oh my God, underwear on the floor. Blah. My mother walked in the room and she said, "Clean up this room now."
What would you do?
She's very cool. My mother
What would
cool.
she do if you said, looked straight at her and said, no?
Hey, if I said no, I wouldn't remember what time it was. I wouldn't be sitting here, right? I'd have one eye closed, still closed from
I
50 years ago.
Yeah, I think if you said no to her, you would be either doing this video with a glass eye or not doing this video at all.
Right. One thing I knew better not to do is talk back to my mother. You never talk back to a Southern mother.
But you're in your 80s. You're a grown man.
No,
you have
I'm
the right
talking
to
about
do
when I
that.
was back in those days. I would never talk back to my mother and say I'm not going to do something. that wasn't in my vocabulary.
No, that's a death wish. That's just a death wish.
Thank you. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and saying no to your mother right in her face, that's a death wish.
That's a death wish.
You want to meet your Lord and Savior at that point.
Thank you. After you say that, you start saying your prayers.
If I ever said no to my mom when she told me to clean my room, she would beat me from Sunday to Friday.
Thank you. Sounds like my mother. Yeah.
And then she's gonna smack me back to Sunday because she told me to take out the trash and I didn't, and it's a Friday, so she's gonna send me back to where I came from.
My mother's theme for life, the basic word, and guess what it was?
What?
Respect. She said the key word for living a good life is to start with respect for everyone and yourself.
You have to have respect to get respect.
You have to have respect to get respect. And so we started our day that way. Even if I had a problem with someone, and I grew up in a pretty tough neighborhood. I won't tell you all the things I did, but to survive, I didn't look for trouble, but I didn't move away from it. In other words, my twin brother and I were known in this way. You don't bother or you don't jump on Buster and Sonny. That's what our nicknames were. Harrison and Douglas are our real names, but we had little nicknames called. My twin brother's nickname was Sonny, and my name was Buster. And when we moved from Harlem to the Bronx, we had to fight almost every other day. Boys would try to take advantage of us because they said we looked funny. We were from Harlem and blah blah blah.
I see. And where you were at that time, it was either kill or be killed.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. I don't want to tell you all the things because it's not nice.
Yeah.
But I'm very blessed to be here talking to you, though.
Yes.
I'm blessed to be here.
And the last question for the day is,
Sure.
How was it in the 70s?
The 70s, when you get to my age, the 70s is just like around the corner, a very short time ago. And the 70s, let me see, my son was born around the 70s, early 70s. And so Nanika was born in the 80s. And let me see, the 70s was wonderful, very good. I was teaching in the 70s, I was teaching animation and design in Harlem at PS 24 in Harlem to boys and girls who were preparing their portfolios for high school. They were in junior high school, at the junior high school level. And they were studying film and animation and design. And that's what I taught in the early 70s. When I taught for about 4 years. Then I left there and took a job at West Point. It's a permanent job. From the 70s till recently I retired. Mm-hmm. So the 70s were an interesting decade for me, because those boys and girls who I checked on years later did quite a few of them did very well. 3 graduated from Columbia University. One went to Howard University. 1 graduated from Parsons Art School, and I lost track of some of the others who didn't communicate back with me. But I'm happy to say that I had some good students.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, it was nice to meet you, Mr. Cruz.
It's nice to meet you too.
I hope you have a nice day and a wonderful life.
And I hope you have a wonderful life. The future for you is going to be great, because you're smart and you're ready for the world. As your parents are preparing you for the world. You have fantastic parents. I'll say that in front of them too, because you very rarely meet parents like yours.
True.
Okay.
Well, next time we will meet, we're going to be interviewing another person. Now, we don't know who it is yet, but soon I will know and you will too. And remember, anytime you get upset or blue, keep that sun a-shining and that cup a-rising. Bye-bye.
And I'll knock on the door for you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. Take care. Thank you.